Good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Saras Krishnan from INTI International University. The title of my presentation is Assessments in the Blended Mode. Blended learning has transformed conventional teaching into one that connects the informal and formal learning in order to provide more meaningful and authentic learning experiences. Since pedagogy has transformed, assessment must be aligned and must be relevant to the classroom and the online learning modalities. The quality of students' achieved learning outcomes, among others, is dependent on the quality of the assessments. The use of innovative, creative, and alternative forms of assessment allows students to construct knowledge and achieve deep learning. In this presentation, some forms of assessment in the blended mode are discussed by including examples of students' work. Now, the two main forms of assessments common in the higher learning education are the formative assessment and the summative assessment. Formative assessment measures what learners can and cannot do in the learning process with respect to the learning outcomes. It accommodates the flexibility of blended learning by providing continuous and immediate feedback and information about the learner's progress. Formative assessment engages learners with critical learning process in order to create more meaningful learning experiences for them. It is believed that formative assessments promote equitable education because it provides diverse learning opportunities to cater to the different learners' varying individual needs. An example of formative assessment is the three phases of blended cycle introduced by Dreon in 2014. These cycles consist of before the class assessment, during the class assessment, and after the class assessment. Before the class assessment can be very informative to the instructor in teaching a new topic. During the class assessment is carried out throughout the lesson. It can involve the more sophisticated way of assessing, such as using clickers to get students to answer simple questions during the lesson. After the class assessment usually involves the more conventional types of assessment, such as written tests and examination, which are carried out at the end of a lesson. This slide shows an example of during the class assessment for the topic rate of change. The right-hand side shows a sample of work of a group of undergraduate students for the question displayed on the left-hand side. Blended learning involves use of technology to facilitate learning and assessment. Use of technology in mathematics education especially has created different and sometimes easier ways of assessing learners. Reasons for inclination towards online assessment include reduction of paper usage, flexibility in time in terms of timings and location, and the possibility of repeating an assessment. Examples of online assessments are traditional assessments submitted online, automated assessments, and critical reflections. In the next few slides, we are going to see some examples of this. This slide shows instructions put on the learning management system for a traditional assessment submitted online. The next slide shows an example of the question for the traditional assessment submitted online. And the third slide shows an example of students' work which has been uploaded from the learning management system. The following slide shows an automated assessment on the learning management system. The first picture shows the automated instructions. The second picture shows an example of a calculated numeric question. And the third example shows an example of a multiple choice question. The online assessment can also include students' reflection of the course and of the instructors. I find students are more honest and more willing to give feedback and comments through the learning management system, especially if they can remain anonymous for fear of being disadvantaged by the detractors if they were to say something negative about the course. In summary, assessment tools in blended learning can assess large number of students, enhance learning quality, support feedback, is systematic, and provide results that are more consistent. Assessments in the blended mode need not necessarily involve innovative assessments, but can be traditional form of assessments as we have seen, such as written solutions and multiple choice questions that can either be uploaded on the learning management system or conducted using the learning management system as a tool. Essentially, assessments in the blended mode should enable learners to self-appraise their work, identify their strengths and weaknesses, and to use feedback to improve their performance. However, the focus of assessment must not be on the sophistication of the tool or the complexity of the assessment, but rather how the assessment drives pedagogy and how it enables achievement of the learning objective. Thank you.